When my daughter looked me in the eye and said, "Find somewhere else to die. You're useless now," I figured my foundation had finally cracked for good. I'm Robert Coleman, 68 years old, and I spent 40 years building Coleman Construction from nothing into something solid. 3 days after Christine threw me out, I was sitting in a lawyer's office discovering that my late wife Dorothy had been playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. Let me tell you how I went from homeless widower to the man holding all the blueprints, because this story has more structural surprises than a building inspection gone wrong. 2 months back, I was still adjusting to life without Dorothy. Cancer took her 3 years ago, and I'd been rattling around our house like a loose bolt ever since. The place felt too big, too quiet, too full of memories that seemed to echo off the walls I'd built with my own hands back in 1987. Christine, my 42-year-old daughter, started showing up more often after Dorothy's funeral, real concerned about Dad living alone in that big house. "Dad, you can't possibly manage this place by yourself," she'd say, voice smooth as fresh concrete. "The maintenance, the property taxes, all those memories. It's not healthy for a man your age." Should have checked the load-bearing capacity of her concern right then. Christine had married Jeffrey Foster, an insurance adjuster who smiled too much and talked numbers like he invented math. They lived out in California, raising 2 kids I barely saw except in Christmas photos that came 2 weeks late every year. When they'd visit, Jeffrey would walk around my house like he was already measuring for new furniture, running his hands along door frames I'd installed myself. I'd built Coleman Construction from scratch, starting with a borrowed pickup truck and a toolbox Dorothy's father gave me as a wedding present. By the time I was 45, we had 15 employees and were handling commercial projects across 3 counties. I knew every nail, every beam, every foundation pour that went into making our family comfortable. Dorothy had been my business partner in everything but name. She handled the books, managed client relationships, even helped design some of our residential projects. When the doctors told us about the cancer, she made me promise to keep the company running. Our legacy, she called it. Something solid for Christine, but Christine never showed much interest in the family business. She went to college in California, studied marketing, married Jeffrey, and stayed out west. Visits became phone calls became texts became Christmas cards. I told myself she was busy building her own life. After Dorothy's funeral, those visits started up again. Christine would drive down from Sacramento with Jeffrey, bringing folders full of brochures about senior living communities and assisted care facilities. They'd spread them across my kitchen table like blueprints for a life I didn't want. "Dad, look at this one," Christine would say, pointing to glossy photos of smiling old folks playing cards and doing watercolor painting. "They have activities, medical staff on site, no maintenance worries. Wouldn't that be nice?" What would be nice, I thought but didn't say, was if my daughter visited because she wanted to see me, not because she was shopping for a storage unit for her old man. Jeffrey would nod along, adding financial details like he was calculating square footage. "The monthly fees are very reasonable, Robert. And think about what you could do with the proceeds from selling this place. Really maximize your retirement potential, maximize my retirement potential." Like I was a construction project that needed optimizing. The house sits on 2 acres just outside town, surrounded by oak trees Dorothy and I planted when Christine was 10 years old. We'd designed it ourselves, worked with an architect friend to get the blueprints just right. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, a workshop in the back where I still build furniture when my arthritis isn't acting up. Every board, every fixture, every electrical outlet placed exactly where we wanted it. "It's just so much house for one person," Christine would say, looking around like she was measuring wasted space, "and the upkeep must be overwhelming." The upkeep wasn't overwhelming. I knew every pipe, every wire, every potential trouble spot in that house. When the water heater started making noise last spring, I had it replaced before it could fail. When I noticed the gutters needed cleaning, I got up there myself with a ladder and did the job right. I wasn't some helpless old man who couldn't maintain his own property. I was a contractor who understood systems, maintenance schedules, preventive care. The house was in better condition than most places half its age, but Christine seemed determined to see problems where none existed. Every visit brought new concerns, new suggestions, new brochures. The stairs were too steep. The bathroom didn't have grab bars, the driveway was too long. The kitchen was outdated. "We're just worried about your safety, Dad," she'd say, but her eyes were already redecorating the living room. I should have seen the calculation behind all that concern. Should have noticed how Jeffrey took photos of the house for the insurance files, or how Christine asked detailed questions about Dorothy's financial planning. Should have realized they were conducting a property assessment while pretending to care about my well-being. But I was still grieving, still adjusting to life without my partner of 40 years. When your daughter shows up talking about your future, you want to believe she has your best interests at heart. You want to trust the foundation of family. That trust was about to be tested with a wrecking ball. The final blow came last Tuesday. I'd been living peacefully in the house Dorothy and I built together when Christine showed up with Jeffrey and 2 expensive suitcases. No warning, just walked right in like she owned the place. Dad, we've made a decision. Jeffrey got promoted to regional manager, and we need to relocate immediately. This house is perfect for our family. I set down my coffee mug, feeling the structural integrity of my world starting to shift. Perfect for your family? This is my home. Christine's mask slipped just enough to show the calculation underneath. Actually, Dad, according to Mom's will, I inherited the house and the business assets, all $8.5 million. I've been letting you stay here out of kindness, but it's time for you to find your own place. The blueprint of my life just got redrawn without my signature. Christine, there's been some mistake? Your mother wouldn't leave me with nothing. No mistake, Dad. Mom knew I'd take better care of the money than you would. You never understood investments or financial planning. You were just the builder. Just the builder. 40 years of honest work. Building a business that employed dozens of families, creating homes that would stand for generations. All reduced to 3 words like I was disposable equipment. Jeffrey stood behind her, nodding like a foundation inspector confirming structural damage. Robert, Christine's right. You're 68 years old. Managing this kind of estate is complicated. There are tax implications, investment strategies, portfolio diversification. It's really beyond your expertise, beyond my expertise. This from a man who'd never built anything more permanent than a spreadsheet. That's when Christine delivered the killing blow. Find somewhere else to die. You're useless now. The words hit like a sledgehammer to load-bearing concrete. My own daughter, the little girl I'd taught to use a level, who'd helped me plant those oak trees, was throwing me away like construction waste. I need to pack some things, I said. My voice steady as rebar. Take what you need, Christine said, already walking through the house like a new owner conducting a final inspection. We'll donate the rest to charity. All this old furniture needs updating anyway. Old furniture, Dorothy's grandmother's dining set, the rocking chair where I'd held Christine as a baby. The desk where Dorothy and I had planned every construction project, every business decision, every family milestone. I packed my tools first. My hands know quality when they feel it, and these tools had built everything that mattered in my life. Then some clothes photos of Dorothy, my construction industry awards, and the leather journal where I'd kept project notes for 40 years. 40 years of marriage, business, and fatherhood fitting into the bed of my Ford F-150. Christine watched from the doorway, checking her phone like I was making her late for an important appointment. There's a nice assisted living facility on Elm Street. She offered with the enthusiasm of someone recommending adequate materials. Very reasonable rates. I'm sure they have openings. Reasonable rates. My daughter was inheriting $8.5 million and suggesting I check into what was basically a warehouse for old folks waiting to die. Jeffrey loaded my toolbox with the efficiency of someone clearing a job site.
Robert, you'll love the independence.
No more worrying about house maintenance or property management. You can focus on enjoying your golden years. Like retirement was some kind of reward for becoming irrelevant. As we drove away, I watched the house Dorothy and I designed disappear in my side mirror. Every window, every door, every architectural detail chosen with care and precision. Now it was just real estate to be renovated by people who didn't understand its history. The irony wasn't lost on me. I'd built that place board by board, installed every fixture, maintained every system. The foundation was solid, the electrical was updated, the plumbing was copper throughout. It would outlast most houses built today. Now I was being hauled away like construction debris, while my daughter planned to gut the craftsmanship and install whatever was trending in home improvement magazines. The Sunset Motor Lodge charged $65 a night for a room that had seen better decades. Thin walls, thinner towels and carpet that crunched under your boots like stepping on broken drywall. The bathroom fixtures were from the 1980s, installed by someone who didn't believe in proper anchoring. Christine handed me $500 in cash, like she was tipping a subcontractor after a small job. This should cover you for a week while you get situated, she said. Jeffrey will transfer some funds once we sort through Mom's paperwork. Some funds from my own inheritance. The generosity was overwhelming. After they left, I sat on a mattress that had less support than a house built on sand and tried to process what had just happened. In 4 hours, I'd gone from homeowner to homeless senior citizen. The daughter I'd raised, educated, and built a legacy for had discarded me like a broken tool, but something kept nagging at me, like a measurement that doesn't add up when you double-check your work. Dorothy had been as meticulous about paperwork as I was about building codes. She'd shown me the will years ago, walked me through every provision, made sure I understood the foundation of her planning. Dorothy understood construction contracts better than most lawyers. She knew the importance of clear specifications, proper documentation, signed approvals. She wouldn't have left ambiguity in something as important as our estate plan. I pulled out my phone and looked up Dorothy's attorney, Charles Patterson, same lawyer who'd handled our business incorporation, property deals, and construction contracts for 20 years. If anyone could explain this structural failure in our legal foundation, it would be him. The bus ride downtown cost $35.50, eating into my limited cash but feeling necessary. Sometimes you have to invest in quality inspections to understand why your foundation is failing. Charles Patterson's office building was solid construction, built in the 1920s when craftsmen took pride in permanent work. Charles Patterson was a distinguished man in his 70s, the kind of lawyer who still wore suspenders and meant what he said. His handshake was firm, his office organized like a well-planned construction site. When his secretary announced that Robert Coleman was here about his wife's estate, he looked genuinely puzzled. "Robert, I was wondering when you'd come in. I tried calling your house several times over the past month, but Christine said you were visiting relatives out of state." Out of state. That's the story my daughter had been telling while she was busy erasing me from my own life. "Mr. Patterson, I need to ask you about Dorothy's will." Christine says she inherited everything. He looked confused, like an architect reviewing blueprints that didn't match the building. "Of course we can discuss it. Didn't Christine provide you with your copy?" I gave her the original and several copies after the reading. My foundation started shifting again. There was a reading. "Robert, you were supposed to be there. It was scheduled for 2 weeks after the funeral. Christine said you were too grief-stricken to attend, that she'd handle everything and make sure you received your inheritance." The load-bearing wall of my trust just collapsed completely. I'd been dealing with funeral arrangements, handling Dorothy's final medical bills, organizing her personal effects. Christine had told me the estate matters could wait until I was ready. "Mr. Patterson, I was never told about any reading." "Christine told me she inherited the house and all the business assets. She moved me out yesterday." Charles Patterson's expression shifted from confusion to something harder, like rebar being exposed under pressure. He reached for a thick file folder, his movements suddenly urgent like a contractor who'd just spotted a serious code violation. "Robert, that's impossible. Your wife's will is very specific about your inheritance. Let me get the documentation." He pulled out a document I recognized, Dorothy's neat signature at the bottom, witnessed and notarized with the same care she brought to every important business contract. But as Charles began reading, I realized Christine had demolished the truth and built her own version. "I, Dorothy Coleman, being of sound mind and body, do hereby bequeath to my beloved husband Robert Coleman the following: our primary residence at 12467 Oakwood Drive, including all furnishings and personal property. Additionally, I leave him 75% of all financial assets, investments, and business holdings, totaling approximately $640 million. My head felt like it was spinning on a loose foundation. $644 million. The house, 75% of everything we'd built together over 4 decades. Charles continued reading, his voice gaining the precision of a building inspector finding serious violations. "To my daughter, Christine Coleman Foster, I leave $2.1 million to be held in trust, with distributions beginning on her 45th birthday, contingent upon her respectful treatment of her father following my death, contingent upon her respectful treatment of me." Dorothy had engineered this like a master contractor, building in safeguards against structural failure. Furthermore, Charles continued, should Christine fail to treat Robert with dignity and respect, or should she attempt to manipulate, defraud, or mistreat him in any way, her inheritance shall be forfeit and revert entirely to Robert. Dorothy had known. Somehow my wife had anticipated exactly what Christine would try to pull, and she'd built protection into the foundation of her will. "Mr. Patterson," I said, my voice barely holding together like mortar in need of repair, "Christine told me I inherited nothing. She moved into my house yesterday. She gave me $500 and told me to find somewhere to die. The elderly lawyer's face flushed with anger that could have powered a jackhammer. He stood up, walked to his filing cabinet, and pulled out additional documents. Robert, what Christine has done is called elder abuse and fraud. She's committed multiple felonies against you and violated the explicit terms of her mother's will, but she had legal documents. She showed me papers with Dorothy's signature, forged most likely, or documents from a much earlier draft. Your wife updated her will 8 months before her death. She came in here specifically because she was concerned about Christine's attitude toward money and family responsibility. The room felt like a construction site after a major renovation, everything familiar but completely transformed. All those times, Christine had rolled her eyes when I talked about work ethic, dismissed my stories about building the business from nothing, acted like my values were outdated blueprints. Dorothy had been watching, evaluating, making strategic decisions about our family's future. There's more, Robert. Let me show you something else Dorothy included. Charles pulled out another document, this one in Dorothy's handwriting. She wrote this letter to be opened if there were ever disputes about the will. She wanted you to understand her reasoning. He handed me the letter, and I recognized Dorothy's careful script, the same handwriting that had managed our business correspondence for decades. My dear Robert, it began. If you're reading this, it means Christine has shown her true character after my death. I've watched her become increasingly entitled and dismissive of the values we tried to instill. She sees your hard work as simple manual labor, not understanding the intelligence, planning, and dedication required to build what we've built together. I had to stop reading for a moment, hearing Dorothy's voice in every word. I've structured my will to protect you and reward the love and sacrifice you've given our family. Christine will inherit only if she proves worthy of your legacy. If she doesn't, everything goes to you as it should. You built our life together, and you deserve to enjoy the results of your labor without interference from ungrateful children. Charles watched me finish reading, then said quietly, Robert, there's one final detail. The trust provision for Christine specifically states that if she fails to treat you with respect and dignity following my death, her entire $2.1 million inheritance reverts to you instead. I stared at him like he'd just told me concrete could fly. Are you saying what I think you're saying? I'm saying your daughter just cost herself $2.1 million. Her inheritance is now yours as well. You're not inheriting $6.4 million, Robert. You're inheriting the full $8.5 million plus the house and all property. The irony was so perfect it could have been engineered by Dorothy herself. Within 2 hours, Charles Patterson's office became mission control for what he cheerfully called Operation Foundation Repair. He contacted the police, the banks, and a private investigator while I sat in his leather chair, still processing the magnitude of Christine's miscalculation. The forged documents are quite sophisticated, Detective Amanda Rodriguez explained as she reviewed the fake will Christine had shown me. This wasn't improvised construction. Someone planned this systematically. You think Christine had help? Almost certainly. Creating convincing legal forgeries requires specific knowledge and connections. We'll need to investigate whether Jeffrey or someone in his insurance network was involved. That made sense. Jeffrey had been asking detailed questions about Dorothy's estate planning for months, always framing it as professional curiosity about proper financial management. Turns out he was conducting reconnaissance. Within 3 hours, every account had been frozen. Christine's credit cards linked to what she thought were her new assets were declining faster than a building permit application with missing signatures. The house utilities, which she'd already transferred to her name, were suspended pending ownership verification. My phone rang at exactly 4:23 p.m. Christine's name flashed on the screen. Dad, where are you? There's some kind of problem with the bank accounts. They're saying Mom's assets are frozen. Hello, Christine. I'm sitting in Charles Patterson's office. You remember him? Mom's attorney, the one who read the real will to an empty room while you told him I was out of state. Silence. Then her voice sharper now. Dad, I don't know what you think you discovered, but I discovered that you're a liar and a fraud, sweetheart. I also discovered that your mother was a better construction engineer than both of us realized. You don't understand the complexities of estate management. I was protecting you from financial decisions you're not equipped to handle, or I understand perfectly. You forged legal documents, committed elder abuse, and threw your 68-year-old father out of his own house because you thought I was too simple to notice. Her voice turned desperate. Dad, you're confused. The grief has been overwhelming, and someone is obviously taking advantage of your emotional state. Even caught red-handed, Christine was still trying to frame me as the confused old man. Christine, dear, let me clarify your structural situation. Not only did you never inherit anything, but your actual inheritance, the $2.1 million your mother left you, is now mine as well, thanks to a lovely clause she included about treating me with dignity and respect. That's impossible. Detective Rodriguez is sitting right here. If you'd like to discuss the impossibility of fraud charges with her. The phone went quiet. I could almost hear Christine's mental blueprints collapsing. The police arrested Christine at 7:15 p.m. while she was having dinner at Romano's, apparently celebrating her inheritance with Jeffrey and another couple. According to Detective Rodriguez, she screamed about false arrest and demanded to call her lawyer, who turned out to be Jeffrey's golf buddy with no criminal law experience. Jeffrey was arrested at his office the next morning. The forensic accountant had traced the forged documents to a printing company Jeffrey's firm regularly used for creating fraudulent insurance claims. My son-in-law had quite the criminal resume that Christine either didn't know about or chose to ignore. I spent my first night back in my house sleeping in the master bedroom. Christine had already moved her belongings into the space, replacing Dorothy's careful organization with chaos of designer clothes and expensive cosmetics. I packed everything into contractor bags and left them on the front porch. The house felt different now, not because Dorothy was gone, but because I was finally seeing it as mine again. For 3 years after Dorothy's death, I'd maintained it like a memorial. Now, looking around with clear eyes, I realized it was time for some major renovations. Charles called the next morning with updates. Christine's bail is set at $75,000. Since all her accounts are frozen, she'll have to find someone else to cover it. What about Jeffrey? $150,000. The judge wasn't impressed with his history of insurance fraud. Your son-in-law had been under federal investigation for falsifying claims. 3 days after Christine made bail, Jeffrey's mother showed up with settlement offers that started at $500,000 and went up to $2 million. I turned them all down. Some foundations once compromised can't be patched with money. 6 months later, Christine and Jeffrey were each serving 14-month federal sentences. The news coverage had made me something of a local celebrity in contractor and senior advocacy circles. I used $2 million of my inheritance to start the Dorothy Coleman Foundation for Elder Protection. We fund legal aid for seniors facing family financial abuse and support legislative changes to strengthen elder protection laws. The story captured national attention. The Builder's Revenge, an American crime story, was being developed as a documentary series with proceeds going to elder advocacy organizations. Christine had written me 23 letters from federal prison. I read the first few, which ranged from self-justifying to desperate, before deciding to stop opening them. Some relationships, once the foundation cracks, can't be rebuilt with words alone. I walked through my house, really my house now, renovated according to my plans, organized around my priorities. In Dorothy's former sewing room, I'd set up a workshop where I was building birdhouses for the local nature center, projects I'd never had time for during my working years. The workshop had a large window facing the backyard where I'd planted a vegetable garden in soil that belonged to me, on property I'd defended through intelligence and persistence rather than inherited through luck or manipulation. Listen, if you're watching this and you're over 50, you know what it's like to work your whole life building something solid. You understand the value of honest labor, keeping your word, treating family with respect. But sometimes the people closest to you see that dedication as weakness, that trust as an opportunity. Don't let entitled children or manipulative relatives convince you that your experience doesn't matter, that you're too old to understand your own affairs. You built your life with intelligence and hard work. Trust those same qualities to protect what you've earned. And remember, sometimes the strongest foundations are built after everything else gets torn down. Thanks for listening. Your voice matters, and so does your story.